Hey guys, good morning. Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope you're all well. Well, we had a nice Christmas morning, cool, light kind of rain coming down outside. Very nice. I wasn't planning on making a video today, but for obvious reasons that you can see what I put in my community tab for the first time and well, since I've had a YouTube channel since 2019. Even before that, I had one before that too, but got rid of that. I don't have that account anymore. But uh, I had a video taken down by YouTube, which was pretty surprising and disappointing on many levels, because evidently I showed my Honduran driver's license. And here's the thing, guys. I understand, you know, from the perspective of a lot of places, it's an individual thing. You know, they can't just blanketly treat this in one way for everybody based on a country like the United States. I understand how delicate certain things are, like with identity theft and bank accounts and all that kind of stuff, and but they need to look at that on an individual basis. Okay. um, and it has to do with censorship, and it just and the whole thing is just there's YouTube is judge, jury, and executioner, and you have no say in it. Even when you have an appeal, they don't offer you any. You can't say anything, so there's no defense for yourself. uh you get flagged, or you get taken down by a bot, and then another person out there in YouTube land reviews it, and then you just have no say in the issue at all. So that doesn't seem very American to me as far as the judicial system. But maybe it is. Maybe we're fooled. Um, because in my case, guys, that license has absolutely no effect on my life at all, as far as I mean, me being worried about identity theft or anything like that. The driver's license in Honduras is, you have to understand how things are here. um, People have a driver's license, and your driver's license is for driving. That's it. It's not valid for any other type of transaction. You can't go to the bank, and it's not your ID. It's only your ID while you're in your car driving. If a police officer stops you from transit police, that's it. That is it. You can't use it at the bank. You can't use it anywhere else. It's not a valid form of ID for anything. That's why people have a national ID, a national Honduran ID. Foreigners like myself have a foreign resident card, or you can use a valid passport. So any one of those. And in my case, well, if there is a hacker out there or an identity thief, well, let me tell you, you're going to be kind of disappointed, because this guy right here, Colin Zafke, which I've said where I live, I say my name in every single video, and I don't have credit cards, I don't have a bank account, and anything else that you could possibly find with that ID number. I am absolutely not worried about somebody wanting to steal the identity of a guy in Honduras, or anybody for that matter. So, and I think that's what it comes down to, is issues of First Amendment rights. That's the part that bothers me. It's my ID. It's my information. If it were somebody else's, different story, completely different story. But it's mine. I had another video, and you can go back and look at it in the thumbnail. I put on there when I worked in the airport construction project, which is on an active U.S. military base and Honduran military base, Air Force. And I put a picture of the ID that we used to get on the base. They had to give us a military ID. No problem there. They didn't take the video down, you know. So it's just the question of, I do what I want with my stuff. That's what it comes down to. Okay. And the funny thing is that YouTube says it like, they're protecting you because of personal documents and things like that. But at the same time, they're punishing you. That could have possibly been a strike against my channel, but they still eliminated the video. They took it down. So it's like, well, if you're protecting me, why are you punishing me? At the same time. So that doesn't really make sense. And the censorship, as many of you mentioned, the censorship on YouTube is just out of hand. It's out of control. And what it comes down to always, what's funny is how, as usual in America, and of course this affects everybody because it's an American-based company, so they're going to apply their bullshit to everybody. Is that, as always, for us little people, just like in American society, there are immediate, severe consequences. The law applies to you. And yet, you go on YouTube and look at the quantity of just garbage there is out there, just like on TikTok and these other apps. And those don't get taken down. But I make an adult decision to show a document that belongs to me, and I get a video taken down. Well, it's sad because I'm not going to redo that video. I'm not going to redo it again. If all of you that watched it, uh, basically in a nutshell, I started off by talking about how my Christmas was kind of clouded over, was kind of stained. Yesterday on the 24th, while I was at transit getting my license, I got the news from one of my daughters that a young man, well, relatively, he's my age, but by the name of Brian Rupp. He was from Minnesota, and we went to the Eveleth Community and Technical College together, went to school together. We worked together at L&M Radiator in Hibbing. And then later on, he's the one that invited me to come down to Honduras for the first time in 2002. So really, if it weren't for Brian, I wouldn't be here today. My life would be completely different. And the kids that I have today wouldn't exist. Well, maybe I would have other ones, maybe, but we were very close at that time, and he was a really, really nice guy. Really nice guy. He was a witness. He was a Jehovah's Witness, um, and we lost contact over the years. But he always had a very special place in my heart. I showed several pictures that we had together down here when we came down here many years ago, and boy, that just threw me through a loop. That threw me through a loop. It was really hard to get that news. When you don't see people. And my video was entitled, Jehovah's Witnesses reconnect now while you still have a chance before it's too late. Reconnect, because it's sad when people are separated by religion, when one group is shunning another group, and you don't get a chance to see those people. You don't get a chance to talk to them again. And then the next thing you know, you see them in an obituary. And it shouldn't be that way, you know? Shouldn't be that way. It's really tough. Um, but it's funny how, with this stuff like this, I mean, we've got people, all over the world, Netanyahu, Putin, all these people committing atrocities, genocides, and yet they're governing countries. There's no consequences for them, and yet, and these healthcare companies that are making people's lives miserable, and yet nothing happens to them because they simply don't have the gun in their hand, and they've got these legal things set up and loopholes that keep them, safe. And that's what sets people off. You know, If you don't have a gun in your hand, you're not a murderer. So yeah, that's what happened. But such is life, I guess. We'll continue on. We'll just make other videos, and I guess lesson learned, right? Whether however I feel about it or not is irrelevant, because YouTube is going to do what it wants anyway, and they're going to step on my rights, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Very interesting. You know, it's interesting how I uploaded the the video at our Christmas party at work that we had, and they wanted me to go up and sing, so I sang a Phil Collins song, and it's interesting because you can hear the music in the background and I'm singing, but it didn't get flagged or anything like that. That's isn't that a copyright violation and all of that? I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to it, but and then in that video, what the main topic of the video was about Christmas, and I analyzed a couple of scriptures in Luke and Matthew about how Jesus' birth indeed was celebrated. And with Gabriel coming, and Gabriel came to Zechariah and Elizabeth, and announced the birth of John the Baptist, and that was going to be a very joyous occasion for many people, and he would announce the Savior coming, and then he announced to Mary, and how joyous that would be, and then he appeared to the shepherds who were in the field and announced the coming of the Savior, and there was great rejoicing, and these other celestial hosts appeared with him, praising God and rejoicing. And so, and then with the Magi coming, and the astrologers coming and giving him gifts and all of that, which doesn't say that Joseph gave the gold back. I wouldn't. So it was celebrated, and the whole thing with the date and all of that's just petty bickering. So nobody else ever came up with another date, so hey, we're stuck with December 25th. And what the heck anyway? Who cares, right? That date's not associated with the solstice and the pagan rituals that the Romans celebrated anymore. You ask anybody about December 25th, that's Christmas, the birth of Jesus. So as I mentioned, the kind of like the analogy of how Jesus died on the cross, and he turned an object, a symbol that was death and torture and cruelty, and he took on all of this sin and condemnation and the curse of everybody, the whole world, and he turned that now into a symbol of life, a symbol of hope, a symbol of forgiveness. So those things change, and the light overcomes the darkness, and so those things that symbolize death now mean life. And you know what? In the Bible, Yahweh, Jehovah, whatever you want to call him, was the first one to do that when he prefigured back in the days of Moses, and the Hebrews who were wandering through the desert were complaining about the manna and all of that, and God sent out the snakes, venomous snakes, to bite them, and they were dying by the thousands. And so what did God do? He sent Moses, he gave Moses an order to create a pole and to forge a copper, bronze, whatever you want to call it. There's different translations. A bronze serpent around this pole, and then the people had to look at it in order to survive. And it's interesting if you analyze that. What were they looking at? They were looking at, because it took faith to look at it and believe that they were going to be okay, that they could be saved. So the very thing that was killing them, they were in a active process of dying, now turned into the thing that had to save them. That prefigured, and Jesus in the New Testament, in any of the Gospels, in Matthew, he quotes that very passage. that just as Moses raised up the snake in the desert, so the Son of Man will be risen up as well. He was talking about his crucifixion, his death. So something that represented death turned into life. And anyone who looked upon the snake with faith survived. So, well, that could be a whole nother video for another day, just about that and the cross and what it symbolizes and all of that. But anyway, yeah. So live and learn, I guess. Live and learn. So okay, mein Führer, YouTube, whatever you say goes. The dictatorship that is YouTube. So anyway, I hope everybody has a very good Christmas. My love out to all of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support always, for watching the videos, which is all I've ever asked. And the response has been phenomenal. And I appreciate every one of you. And also I wanted to mention as well, because there was an issue with, and I know some of you, many of you, and I hope you can comment on this down below because it causes confusion and sometimes misunderstandings on certain videos that YouTube kind of doesn't like the one I uploaded about the updates of CSA in Pennsylvania. And one gentleman was asking me if I had erased his comments because he made a very long reply to one of my comments, and then he couldn't see it later on. I could, it was there, but he couldn't see it, so he thought it got erased. And that happens sometimes. It happens to me on other channels when I comment on, I mean, not XJW channels, just other YouTube videos. And then you go back and you can't see it for some reason, and you don't know if it's there or not. It happens. I don't know why it happens, but YouTube does that. For some reason, they your comments. I don't know if it's just the system or what the issue is, but particularly when you reply to somebody. And then another guy who was just being an ass, Dave something, and I already blocked him from the channel because I gave him the opportunity to retract or at least to apologize, because he made a comment on that particular video, which was a very sensitive subject. And he was talking about me screening comments and, oh, I moved down to Honduras, a third world country, and he's making himself look like a victim, and what a joke, and how weak, and all of this. And so just being a dick. And he didn't, so I got rid of it. And I explained to him that, no, I do not screen comments. Okay, I'm not going through the comment, okay, let's see what each person said. No, I read comments when they come up. And the only time I get rid of comments is if they're just completely irrelevant, to the topic, or if they're personally like attacking me or insulting. So it has absolutely, it's not it's not contributing anything to the channel. And they do it on these topics that are very, very sensitive. I mean, my God, people, we're talking about children getting abused here. Okay. And if you don't like the fact and you're butthurt because it's your organization and you don't want to admit that this is happening, and you're just being a dick about it and being an ass about it, well, then get over yourself. Deal with it. It's happening. Okay. And if you can't even have enough compassion to I mean, just don't say anything. I mean, my goodness, what's wrong with people? And that's exactly why this stuff happens in the JW organization, just because of people just like that don't care. They don't care at the end of the day. So those are the kind of ones that I will erase, and I will block them from the channel, because I've erased those kind of people before and they come back and they keep doing the same thing. So I just have to block them. And I did that. So, and they can come back with another account. I'll keep blocking you. So, but other than that, I've had other people, not just because of disagreements. I'm not going to erase comments because of that. Okay. I'm not going to do the same thing that YouTube does. Okay. I'm not into censorship, but, just be known that, if you come on, with snide remarks or with insults, then you're going to be done. That's it. Okay. So, all right. Anyway, well, I hope you can watch the video that El Reno is going to be uploading today. Okay. And so just to clarify, I'm not interviewing her. She had me on her channel, and so it's just more of like just a conversation between us. It's not let's deep dive into Colin's life. You guys already know it. You've seen the videos a million times, and we didn't want to rehash all of that. My waking up story. Nah. No, we talked about a very poignant issue, and I think you'll enjoy it. That's at 12 noon today, Pacific Standard Time. And so you can go from there. So 12 noon, 1 o'clock Mountain, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. So you can check that out. It was just pre recorded and pre scheduled to be visible today. So I hope you enjoy it. So, all right, guys, have a good rest of your day. Have a good Christmas. Take care. And we'll see you in the next CO visit.